Well, now, every Kenyan must have the following 5 accounts that I'm about to discuss on this board. And all what you need to do is to watch this video to the end because the account number 5, it is my favorite and you ought to have it irrespective whether you're a Kenyan or whoever you are. The point is this video I'm going to discuss with you for the next 15 minutes. I'm going to discuss with you 5 accounts that you must have them. For God's sake, we are in 21st century, 2024, whereby you're supposed to go ahead and do something as far as your life is concerned. This is Good Joseph speaking in case you're watching me for the first time. And here we discuss everything related to investments, making money and all those kind of things. And if you're conscious about that, then make sure that you hit that subscription button. Make sure that you like the video, all right? And make sure you leave me a comment on the comment section. And if you can share this video to your friends and families, oh, by the way, make sure that you share this video to your girlfriend and your boyfriend. Let's get into business now. Here we are. The first account that you must have if you are a Kenyan. Before you do anything, forget about investment, forget about nothing, before you do anything, the first account that you must have is called an EF account. An EF account. What is an EF account? It's emergency fund account. What exactly does it help you? This helps you to lay what we call, this is a protective layer. Protective layer. What do I mean by this particular point? By the way, let me just give you a very tricky, sort of a trick that you're supposed to use whenever you want to invest your money. Let's say maybe you have like a 500,000, 50,000, 100, whichever the amount of money that you have. The very first thing that you're supposed to do before you even get yourself into the investment is to establish a layer of protection. Let's say you only have 500,000. In Swahili, we say mbele na nyuma, meaning like it's the only money that you have. You cannot just take the whole chunk and throw it in an investment or a business. What you do, you can say, guess what? I'm going to take 100,000, throw it in an account, call it an emergency fund, just in case a BS happens. I'm able to rely on that amount of money that is in my emergency account. And then this 400 that is remaining, I'm going to put into the business. And this perspective, I'm going to give this business a particular period of time. Some people say this, before starting a business, I'm going to set aside this amount of money to service my own, what do you call it, recurrent expenditure, my bills, my transport, my rent, my food, water, and what have you. Then I'm going to give my business a breathability allowance for it to grow and move to the next level. So when you have that differentiation where you actually set yourself a protective layer, just in case a BS happens, you have a soft landing. So that is the first account that you have. By the way, if you have a family, whether you have a family or do not have a family, always have that emergency fund that you've set aside just in case anything happens here and there. Anyway, by the way, when we say emergency fund, we don't necessarily mean that something will happen. We just set it aside, just, you never know. This is life and it's full of unexpectations, all right? Now, after having this emergency fund, what other accounts are you supposed to have by yourself? We go to the account number 2, and the account number 2 is called CAB account. CAB account is just a name that I've picked it randomly to simply mean have this account for the sake of kids. Let's say you have kid or kid somewhere. Have their account. And people tend to get this information on a wrong perspective. When I say have a CAB account, people tend to think I'm talking about the money that you're going to pay the school fees for your kids, the education for your kids, I don't know, for the recurrent expenditure for your kids and what have you. No. Yes, that solves the short-term goal, but it's also good to look at it from the long-term goal, whereby you say, this kid of mine is 2 or 3 or whatever the age they are, then I'm going to be throwing some few coins here and there. These coins that I'm going to be throwing to that account, I'm looking at it from, it can actually pay their school fees and cater for their needs, but in future this kid can inherit this account and I'm able to calculate the culture of not only savings but also investment. So when you say I'm having what we call a CAB account, we are simply talking about making sure that you put your house in order as far as the securing your kids' future is concerned. And the moment you have a CAB account somewhere, and you can access this from variety of banks in Kenya, whereby you send us, and I always tell people this, this CAB account can actually be a money market fund account, whereby you can open several money market accounts and assign different purposes. For example, the emergency fund, you can throw it in an MMF. The CAB account, you can actually use an MMF to do that. Your long-term, your pension, your whatever, you can actually use an MMF to achieve that. So MMF is just that umbrella that you can actually use for various things here and there. So have the CAB account, because one thing that I've actually realized in Africa is that we never take care of our future. We rarely even take care about our kids. We only think about taking them to school, get them good grades and what have you. We forget about it along the way. And just because today you actually educate your kid to the university level does not assure the kid that you'd actually be stable. All right. So now the point is, get that CAB account And I'm using that just the term, I'm using the term cab account. It doesn't mean necessarily it's called a cab account. I've just used that to mean a small kid or what have you. So you can call it whatever you're gonna call it, but just have that account by your side for the sake of the growth. Are we together up to that particular point? Now let me tell you something that I realized on my YouTube channel. Some of you guys are watching my videos, and are not subscribing. Just come here, you get the information, then you disappear. It does not cost you anything just to like the video. Make sure that you hit that small subscription button. On your right, there is a small button written subscribe. It is in black. Hit that magical button, then it disappears. Turn that notification bell so that whenever I upload a new good video, you'll be notified so you never miss a point. All right, so let's get into the business. And I always share information that's gonna change your life. All right, we go to the account number 3. The account number 3 is none other than having an account called DAO CSD. DAO CSD, this is simply that account that facilitates you to invest on things. We call them the bills and the bonds. This one I've actually talked about like several times. So the only way you can invest on these bills and bonds, and you must have an account called DAO CSD. This is what helps you to invest on these bills. There's a video I made and I said, hey, DAO CSD, what is it and what have you? And if you'd like to get a hold of me, maybe to show you specifically, get to listen to you, what you want, how much you can be able to spare, say in a month or what have you, also the goal that you're aiming to get, and what is your, what do you call the financial goal that you're aiming, then we can customize a thing that works for you. All right, so the point is, this is another account that you ought to. For example, in Kenya right now as we speak, we have a new bond that is actually there. It's called an IFB. That is IFB. IFB simply means infrastructure bond, which is tax free, and it's around 17.93%. Can you imagine that? 17.93%. You cannot invest on this without having this. So have this. And as a Kenyan, I mean, seriously, as a Kenyan, instead of being on a complainant end, why don't you grab yourself this account? If you have yourself like a 50 G's somewhere, of which you not even know what you're gonna do with it, you can throw it there. You can throw it in a bill that goes for a short period of time. It can go for 3 months, for 9 months, for 1 year. Let's say you have like $1 million bob, 300, 300, whatever the amount of money that you have. Instead of that money just lying in it idle in a bank, you can be like, I can throw that $1 million bob into that T-bill that goes for 3 months. I get the interest, then I get out of the place. You can get a roughly like 35, 40,000 thereabout, and that money could have not gotten it if just that money was actually lying idle in a bank. So it is good to understand all these nitty-gritty. So as a Kenyan, and of course why I'm saying as a Kenyan obviously is that these bills and bonds in Kenya, they're actually paying you a quite of a good returns and interest. And by the way, this is the safest investment that you can ever have in Kenya, obviously with another one that I'm going to discuss as the last one, of which I told you it's one of my favorite actually. Should I say the last two are actually one of my favorites as far as the investments are concerned. Don't never forget, that's the deal that I told you at the beginning of this video. All right, so go ahead and check out on this DAO CSD. And there is a question that is actually hovering around my text or the comment section, and guys are asking me who are not Kenyans, hey, can an Kenyan actually invest on bills and bonds in Kenya? Yes, a very big yes. Whether you are a resident or an unresident, you can be able to invest in Kenyan's bills and bonds, and not only this one, but also stocks, shares, and also what do we call them, the MMF and what have you. Provided you follow the rules and regulations or the requirements that are required, you can actually go ahead and invest. And if you're interested to do exactly that, oh, by the way, if you're generally interested in investing in Kenya, go ahead and grab that number of mine from the description of this specific video, and you can give me a call or a text on WhatsApp. Then we can be able to have a discussion as far as the investments are concerned. All right, so how about you go to the next one? Good. Now the next one is none other than having what we call the MMF account. The MMF account, this one I've been telling you like a million years. Okay, go ahead and grab it. Go ahead and get yourself an MMF. Go ahead and invest on the MMF. Go ahead, do not idolize your money. Go ahead and make sure that at least your money is somewhere giving birth to small babies. And those small babies that you're getting in return, those are the things that help you to actually, cater for other things. And, it feels pain when when I started talking about money market fund, I realized that it was a thing that most of the people didn't know that existed. You know what? I started talking about these things like last year. That is 2023. Now we are in 2024. And for the last 2 years, tremendous change has happened in the world of capital markets in Kenya. People are investing into this money market. I'm not saying overly I'm the one who, sort of evoked this field of money market fund. me and other guys who discuss about this kind of things, because it was never available. This information was never shared. We were never told this during the our schooling system. And if it was shared, if you happen to do the business or commerce in your high school or university, it wasn't shared on a sense that is a thing that you can get into with as little as 100 shilling in Kenya. It was actually sold to us as a product that is actually reserved for the wealthy and the rich and what kind of and what have you. So once I decided making those videos, that's the time now the veil was off our face, and we were like, wow, it's an area that you can actually pick and be able to invest. Absolutely yes. So by the way, if you are a Kenyan, if there is an account that you don't have to miss, it's a money market fund account. There are good returns. We have a good track record. We don't have any misbehavior since independence as far as these investment areas are concerned. Just go grab it. And at all the time, remember one thing: when you're investing, you make sure that at least you diversify on the investments. Get your money into different sections and what have you, just to make sure that you spread your risk. You don't concentrate your risk at one particular place, because even the Bible itself says that a wise person put their money in more than 7 areas where you actually do what? You invest your money. So go ahead and take action. And I'm saying, if you need any information as far as these are concerned, I have booklets on bills, bonds, money market fund, how to open and what have you. If you grab that number, shoot me a call, text, or an email. I'll be able to send that copy to you for only 280 Kenyan shilling. That's less than $3. Okay, we go to the last one, of course, the one that I was telling you, if you're a Kenyan, you must have it. And that is the CDS account. Another name is called the Central Depository System. This is that account that helps you to buy equity. Why am I insisting that we should have this account? Because I'm so bitter when I hear the information about investment that foreigners are the ones who are investing in Kenyan market. Can you imagine this? All the, you see, Nairobi Securities Exchange, that is our stock market. That is basically, I don't know how I can even frame it. That's a stock market where, all the companies, the PLCs, usually float their shares and what have you. Can you imagine this? Most of the people or individuals who have invested in that market are foreigners, not Kenyans. I wonder what government does, surely, if it cannot educate people why they should invest on the stock market. I mean, seriously? Why can't they just, when they are giving a public address or whatever the thing, say, hey, you know what, Kenyans? Learn to invest on our stock market. Our stock market is actually invaded by the foreigners. And guess what they do? They come here when we have the stability, they invest. Some of these companies are hedge funds. They invest their money there. Once they invest, they get the profit, they dump the shares, and then they leave. So there is this sort of a roller coaster. Shares are up, they are down, they are up, they are down. Because these guys, they come when there's a stability, especially when we near the elections. I don't know why they have this perception that, I don't know, it's going to be unstable and what have you. So what happens that whenever there is no elections and what have you, so they just come, they buy those shares, and then boom, the market share, the market, in our country appreciates, and everyone is buying. And then after some times, once they make the substantive profit that they wanted, then they dump all the shares, then they just disappeared. I'm using this for example because I'm making this video in August. By the way, today is on 1st of August of 2024. And there is a company that I won't mention its name. It came Kenya, invested. I don't know what happened there. Kenyans, let's invest on our own market. Let's invest. And it's quite funny because we are shooting our foot. Why? Some of these markets are banks. Or these companies are banks. They are banks where we've kept our money. So if these companies goes down, even our money is not safe. I repeat, these companies that are PLCs are our banks. This is where we keep our money. So if they do not have operational values or the securities and what have you, obviously it means that they crumble. The ones they crumble, even our money is not safe. So we are the only one who can actually save this specific industry. So let's have this CDS account. That's why I always insist. This is my favorite area. But this one, of course, look at it from the lenses of long term. It's not for a short term, okay? Look at it from a long term, for that kind of a thing. Anyway, guys, that's good, Joseph, and that's my submission. I promised you for the next 15 minutes, and it's about 15 minutes. Go ahead and do something. Invest, grow yourself, and progress yourself to the next level, because I wish you nothing but the best as far as the investments are concerned and growth is concerned. Anyway, if you'll never make the world a better place, believe in our pockets, we can make them a better place. That's good, Joseph speaking. Nice, goodbye, and see you in the next one.